welcome to On Post Rostamon 2015, the super tough international stage race for women, which pitches the very best weekend warriors against reigning world champions and established international racers. This is the 10th edition of Ireland's premier stage race, and we're back in the epic surroundings of County Clare for 6 stages over 5 days, making up 400 kilometres of racing. There's a heightened air of expectation at sign-on as teams and riders make their final preparations. Reigning Irish National Road Race champion Lydia Boylan has brought her English-based WNT squad to Clare, one of 10 British squads on the start list.
It's so hard, I think it's why so many of the British teams come over, because none of the racing in the UK is like this. We don't get today's stage, it's a short stage, but we've got a 5-kilometre climb on it, and that's so rare racing in the UK. So it's a great chance to come over and actually, do some proper climbing and I think show off some of Ireland's really good roads.
Preparations are complete and riders representing 13 nations are all set for the off. Stage 1 leaves Dromoland near Ennis for 68 kilometres, including a single Wicklow 200 Queen of the Mountains classified climb, the 5-kilometre ascent of Mahara, the summit of which is reached after 44 kilometres. That will provide the first serious test of the week before the riders turn for home down the gradual descent to the finish line in Bearfield on the outskirts of Ennis. President of Cycling Ireland Dennis Toomey waves the field away at Dromoland, and it's an eager bunch of 105 riders that's pitched straight into the action with 5 tough days ahead of them. The attacks begin right from the gun. Inevitably, the first crash of the week is not long coming in an unsettled peloton. England's Josephine Gilbert posts the first retirement of the week just a few kilometres into stage 1. Back at the front, the pattern of the week is soon established as the Dutch WV Breda squad seem eager to be involved in every element of the action. Myrthe Wagenaar of the Netherlands launches the first salvo of the week, and though she's soon dragged back, she won't stray far from the front throughout the week. Her teammate and fellow countrywoman Kirsten Paytome is the next to try her luck. Chris Rowe's squad showing characteristic ambition and little fear on the opening stage with 5 days ahead of them. Wagenaar lines it out with Dutchwoman Kylie Waterius and Britain's Gabby Leverage of Starley Primal in her wheel. Approaching the first Wicklow 200 Queen of the Hills of the week, the wind is blowing hard as former French Junior Pursuit champion Ellen Gerard takes the top points on the opening day for the 2nd year in a row for Team Brige ladies. The long descent back towards Ennis allows several riders to race back into contention. Joe Tindley of WNT is on the front, looking to set it up for Lydia Boylan, with Richie's Garda on escort duty for Eve McChrystal. Still time for a late attack as Wagenaar goes again, and she's quickly joined by Mel Lowther of RST Racing. US rider Christy Nichols-James of QCW joins in, but the bunch, marshalled by Starley Primal and Jordana Triton, are certainly keeping them on a short leash. All the attacks are snuffed out, and approaching the finish in Bearfield, it's a group sprint to decide the stage, with RST Racing's Grace Garner timing her jump to perfection to hold off Lydia Boylan and her RST teammate Mel Lowther.
Came upon us really quickly. I think some people weren't expecting it to be that close to the finish, and then all of a sudden it was 100 metres to go and I was in the perfect position, so I just opened up and managed to hold off everyone, so I was really pleased with that.
So Grace Garner takes the first En Poste pink jersey of the week as she fine-tunes preparations for the World Championships in Richmond. First blood to Garner from Boylan and Lowther, with Rebecca Nixon, Eileen Rowe and Stephanie Pole all in the money. Garner takes the first En Poste pink jersey of the week with the top 6 level on time. And she also leads the points and young rider, with Gerard heading the mountains and Eve McChrystal best Irish rider. It's blowing a gale down at Loophead Lighthouse ahead of stage 2, the longest of the week, and the riders know only too well what that will mean out on the road. Cosby flyer Grace Garner looks relaxed in pink, chatting to teammate Lowther. It's 112 kilometres along the wild Atlantic Way, tracing the rugged Clare coastline all the way and providing a truly epic backdrop to what will be one of the biggest challenges of the entire season for many of the riders. 3 classified climbs along the way, including the 4-kilometre first category ascent near Cliffs of Moher at 76 kilometres, on their way to the finish line in the seaside village of Ballyvaughan. Irish National Time Trial Championship silver medalist Eve McChrystal is resplendent in Clare County Council green as she leads the field away from Loop Head. Almost inevitably, it's Myrthe Wagenaar on the attack right from the start, the irrepressible Dutchwoman soon out of sight. The pace takes its toll and the lead group soon numbers less than half the field as they're lined out and buffeted by the offshore winds. Wagenaar will take maximum points at the first climb of what will be a productive day for the Dutchwoman. She's joined off the front by Nikki Juniper of Jordana Triton, the British Road Series champion, out to cap a great season. Eventually, Wagenaar's persistence is rewarded as she's joined by a select group from which the day's stage winner will emerge. Scottish pro Eileen Rowe of WV Breda, Juniper, Denmark's Emma Norsgaard Jorgensen, Eve McChrystal, Annesley Park of Jordana Triton, Ireland's Lydia Boylan in the NDC Blue Points jersey, and Wagenaar take turns at the front, and they're soon joined by Stephanie Pohl of South Netherlands heading for the second climb of the day. Grace Garner is safely in the chase group, but they're leaking time to the leaders and her overall lead is very much in danger. Leaving Spanish Point just before halfway, there are plenty of riders in the chase group with teammates in the break and the impetus has gone out of the pursuit. Up front, Pohl leads Norsgaard, Jorgensen, Juniper, Rowe, Wagenaar and Boylan following a crash which took Eve McChrystal and Annesley Park from contention. Pohl goes again, the reigning world points champion on the track from Germany, dragging Danish teenager Norsgaard Jorgensen and Wiggle Honda pro Eileen Rowe clear. Inside the final 500 metres, Norsgaard Jorgensen catches Pohl by surprise by going for a long one, and neither she nor Rowe can respond to the teenager's late attack. It's a powerful display by the emerging Ricker star as Pohl gives vain pursuit. Pohl trails the Team Ricker rider by 4 seconds at the line, with Rowe a further 3 seconds back. The intensity of the day's effort by Norsgaard Jorgensen is clear to see.
The last kilometer I was waiting. I was looking at the other riders and see how they did. And the last 500 meters, I just got away. So
Norsgaard Jorgensen takes over in pink with that 4-second advantage over Pohl. It's a breakthrough win for Norsgaard Jorgensen from Pohl and Rowe, with Juniper just under half a minute back. And it's a 4-second lead overall for the Dane over Pohl, and a further 3 back to Rowe. While Norsgaard Jorgensen also heads the young rider classification, and Pohl now heads the NDC points. It's the Beast of the East for Stage 3, an 80-kilometre slog through Clare's inland east of Ennis, and the weather has taken a distinct turn for the worse. After yesterday's battering in the wind, the relentless downpour in Scariff is a further challenge for the riders as they contemplate another tough day in the saddle. There are 3 categorised descents in a roughly figure-of-8 route around Clare's inland waterways, and plenty more drags that will sap the riders' legs, including a testing 8-kilometre ramp right from the start. By the time they get back to the finish in Scariff, they'll certainly all know they've been in a bike race. With that climb starting from the line, the pace is hectic right from the flag drop, and more than 30 riders will be distanced in the opening kilometres. Coralie de May of Team Brage tries her luck. The Breton rider is in her third on Post Rosnemont, and after last year's 5th overall, clearly means business this year. Rebecca Nixon of the Welsh-based Fusion RT squad recognises the danger and joins with de May for an extended period out front. Nixon takes the mountains points at Mahara as the lead duo plough on through relentless drizzle. Team Ricker drag the leaders back as they patrol the front for race leader Emma Norsgaard Jorgensen. Elizabeth Stedman from Fusion RT just pips Wagoner to the Wicklow 200 points at the final hill of the day, but it's been another productive stage for the Dutchwoman. Heading for the finish at Scariff, there are about 50 riders in the front group, with the rest chasing at a distance. Race leader Norsgaard Jorgensen takes to the grass on the right-hand side of picture as riders fall like skittles in the centre, removing almost 20 riders from contention. Another rider comes to grief in the treacherous conditions, and it's a group of about 30 riders limbering up to contest the finishing sprint in Scariff. Down the hill into the town, they're spread wide across the road, jockeying for position. Up the narrow finishing ramp, emerging through the mist, Grace Garner of RST punches her way round the outside to take her second victory of the week.
It was pretty much full on from the word go. It started on a climb, it was lined out. I was really struggling actually, but yeah, it kept stretching out and then coming back together, and yeah, made it to the front with about 16 kilometres to go and just stayed there.
So Garner gets a second win ahead of Norsgaard Jorgensen and Cecilia Labrie of Team Brage. Norsgaard Jorgensen retains the overall lead from pole and row, and the young Dane also heads the women's cycling.ie young rider, with Garner back in front in the points competition. Wagoner is in the Wicklow 200 Mountains jersey, and McChrystal is best Irish rider. After the break, 3 stages remain in An Post Rosnemont. Welcome back to An Post Rosnemont, where Emma Norsgaard Jorgensen of Denmark holds a slender 4-second lead over Stephanie Pohl of Germany, approaching the 4th of 6 stages, the individual time trial. It's the shortest stage of the week, but one that will play a major role in the destination of overall honours. Hand flat, with just a flyover bridge to make the riders leave the saddle. It's a straight out and back and non-technical course at Bearfield near Ennis, which places the emphasis very much on pure power. Time trial specialist Eileen Burns of Team Ulster is the fastest of the early starters, setting a superb benchmark time that will last for much of the morning and give the established favourites a real fright. Natalie Grinzer is another with low expectations and high power output, the Fusion RT rider charging away from the line with real purpose. Pre-event favourite Stephanie Pohl of Germany is reigning points race world champion on the track and is using An Post Rosnemont as tune-up for the World Championships in the US. She misses out on stage honours, but her third fastest time will be good enough to take the overall lead. Coralie de May of Team Brage is just over a second faster than Pohl, the rider from Brittany vaulting up 4 places in the overall standings to 5th as a result. Overall leader Emma Norsgaard Jorgensen posts an encouraging 12th fastest time, but it's 17 seconds slower than Pohl, so the Danish teenager slips to 3rd overall. So it's Grinzer, utterly spent at the end of her perfectly paced time trial effort, who hangs on for stage honours, her second stage race time trial success of the season. Grinzer gets the win by fully 6 seconds from de May, with Pohl 3rd, Burns an excellent 4th, Boylan 5th and Juniper 6th. So Pohl takes the overall lead by 7 seconds from Eileen Rowe, with Norsgaard Jorgensen slipping to 3rd and Grinzer now 4th. Grace Garner stays in NDC Blue, Norsgaard Jorgensen leads the young rider, Wagoner controls the mountains, and McChrystal remains best Irish rider.
Conditions were a little bit adverse, but I'm from the southwest, so I literally trained in the rain for about a month for this race, so I guess I was used to it, used to the conditions, so it wasn't too bad.
Pre-event favourite Stephanie Pohl is the third pink jersey in 4 stages. Can the South Netherlands rider hold on? It's the welcome return of balmy autumn sunshine for the Stage 5 circuit race in Ballyala as the riders prepare for their second stage of the day. The fastest bunch race of the week is 10 laps of just over 4 kilometres, just under an hour of high-tempo circuit racing on a fundamentally flat circuit near Ennis for a total of 40 kilometres. It's typically the preserve of the bunch sprinters, but that won't stop the attacks from coming and keeping the pace high throughout. It's a compact bunch in the early stages with Pohl's South Netherlands Energy HR squad looking to keep their star rider out of trouble and WV Breda looking for any opportunity to launch Eileen Rowe. 2 intermediate sprint preems along the way keep the riders focused, and it's Annesley Park of Jordana Triton the first to try her luck off the front ahead of the first sprint of the evening. Park Julie takes the preem and her powerful riding serves to carry her clear for 3 of the 10 laps, but the 19-year-old from Hereford is never out of sight of the attentive peloton as the sprinters teams control the pace to perfection. The bunch stretches as the attacks intensify close to the finish, while the sprint squads try to keep the pace fast to prevent escapes. Team Brage from Brittany have sprint hopes with Cecilia Labrie, so they drive the pace on the front. Team Ricker too want to get in the action as Grace Garner and Stephanie Pohl get into position for the sprint. Gunning for the line, it's a perfect launch by Ricker as Eleanor Husko holds off teammate and second place finisher Emma Norsgaard Jorgensen to the latter's obvious delight. Sweden's Husko leads the Ricker 1-2 with Rebecca Nixon filling the podium ahead of Garner, Colborne and Rowe. No change overall as Pohl retains her 7-second lead overall from Rowe and 3 riders are within 17 seconds. Meanwhile, Norsgaard Jorgensen is back in the NDC points lead by a single point from Garner. A second stage win for Team Ricker, courtesy of Husko, and control of the young rider and points jerseys. It's been an excellent haul for the Danish squad. And with 1 day left and 3 riders within 17 seconds of her lead, Stephanie Pohl still has plenty of work to do. So to the 5th and final day of action with Stage 6, an 85-kilometre leg breaker set to test tired limbs. 2 classified climbs, including a 10-kilometre first category drag, the summit of which is reached with 20 kilometres to go. A long gradual descent offers the sprinters some opportunity to get back in touch before the finish outside the courthouse in Ennis. And the rain is back in time for the final day, the conditions making this one of the most demanding Rossana in recent memory. 97 riders have signed on for the final day, with race leader Pohl staying close to the front and reminding everyone just who holds the pink jersey. Marika Hengeveld controls the pace for teammate Pohl as Katrina Allerud of Norway ventures fourth in the early stages. The attacks come thick and fast as Kirsten Paytome continues a week of relentless attacking for WV Breda. Her teammate Märta Wagenaar is next to go, the Wicklow 200 Mountains jersey holder, confirming her status as one of the most aggressive riders in the event. Wagenaar takes the first mountains points of the day, just as she's caught by a slimmed down leading bunch. South Netherlands get back into policing duties for pole, with Hengevel doing Trojan work for her team leader. Before RST's Kelly Murphy makes her presence felt at the front. Team Bryce chased down Murphy as the French squad worked to put pressure on pole. The biggest move of a busy day comes when Caroline DeMay of Team Bryce races clear with Rebecca Nixon of Fusion RT and Team Ricker's Julie Leth, the latter named professional star on the comeback trail after her crash earlier in the season. However, with DeMay just 23 seconds behind pole on overall time, the move is never allowed to gain momentum. The trio are brought back to the fold as the race leader stays close to the front. Ellen Gerard is the next Team Bryce rider to escape the fold, the Breton finishing the week as she started by taking the final climb of the race. HBSS Norway are active on the front as the bunch stretches on the long descent back towards the final finish line in Ennis. Team Bryce are relentless in their efforts to get clear, but they're being given short shrift today. Racing into the final kilometres, Irish national road race champion Lydia Boylan and Eve McChrystal in Green form an alliance out front, grabbing a 15-second lead. For a brief moment it looks like they might succeed, but they're dragged back inside the final 500 metres. Round the outside into the final corner, Eileen Rowe is in the perfect position. And the Wiggle Honda Pro, guesting with WV Breda, makes it a perfect week for the Dutch squad. Rowe gets the win from Grace Garner, with pole a delighted and triumphant third. Nikki Juniper is fourth ahead of Norsgaard Jorgensen, with Henrietta Colburn sixth. The final Leinster Stages jersey of the week goes to Scotland's Eileen Rowe, who finishes a fine second overall, but there was nothing she could do about Stephanie Pole, the German rider completing her preparations for the World Championships in fine style.
I'm so happy. I come here. I'm not sure can I win the stage, and but after the time trial with my team, we can win.
No change on the final day as pole seals the overall win from Rowe and Norsgaard Jorgensen, while Grace Garner takes the NDC points jersey from Norsgaard Jorgensen, who makes do with the women's cycling.ie young rider. Märta Wagenaar dominated the Wicklow 200 Mountains, and Eve McChrystal is the Clare County Council Best Irish Rider. That's it from the 10th edition of An Post Rostamon. Goodbye.